Here's a story. It's a story about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa was a very miraculous Tana. He lived right after the maybe during and also, but immediately after the destruction of the temple. He did very big miracles, amazing miracles. But here's one that teaches us a very big lesson. And the miracles, I think that I've said this before also, but I'll tell you it again. Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa was tremendously poor. He was tremendously poor. And there's stories about his poverty and how poor he was. But he saw everyone going up to the temple before the holidays. Oh, people went up to the holy temple and they brought sacrifices to the temple. And we talked about this before. Why in the world God wants sacrifices? What's the point of it? We talked about that, but never. It's a commandment. It was a commandment to bring sacrifice. It's a commandment to put on tefillin. And nobody understands what the tefillin are. The tzitzis. It's a commandment. That's what God wants, right? There's also spiritual reasons, Kabbalistic reasons, but for some reason that's what God wanted. Sacrifices in the temple. Okay. So he saw everyone's bringing up these sacrifices to the temple, and he has absolutely no money. I mean, he's got a few pennies or something like that. He's got a few pennies. So he doesn't know what to do. He's sort of dejected, and he goes out into the field, starts to think. All of a sudden, he sees this beautiful rock, a big rock on the ground. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but rocks are very heavy. Rocks are tremendously heavy. I mean, a small rock, not, but you get a bigger rock, a rock, let's say that's like this big, that big. It's very, very difficult. You get these strong men contest to lift it up. But if you have a rock, let's say the size of a person, something like that. Anyway, so he saw this beautiful rock, and he started polishing it and shining it and cleaning it, and finally he finished. And he said, "I'm going to take this rock to Jerusalem and put it, let's say, outside of Jerusalem, or the entrance, something like that." It was really impressive. The rock was like really impressive. I don't know. It was maybe like a some sort of a shining rock or coral rock, whatever it was. Anyway, it was very impressive, very beautiful. So he's a weak guy, and he almost never eats anything. And so he has to have people that'll carry it. So just happened to be that a bunch of stevedores or whatever they're called, strong carriers happened to go by and says, "Oh, this is just a miracle from God." And thinking, "Will you take this up to Jerusalem?" So they went and they tested it, and they said, "Okay, but we want $1,000." So he said, "No, I don't have $1,000, but I'll tell you what, you bring it to Jerusalem, and I have friends in Jerusalem, and I'll get the money and I'll pay it." They said, "No, no, 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 no. Cash first." And he say, "We believe you, we trust you, but we want cash." So he didn't have it. So he's sitting there, he's all dejected and frustrated. And all of a sudden comes another group of 5 men. And they say, "Excuse me, Jew, what are you depressed about? What is it?" I said, "I want to bring this thing up to Jerusalem, and I haven't got any money." I said, "Oh, we'll take it up. How much do you want?" They said, 50 cents. It's 50 cents. That's exactly what I got, 50 cents. That's great. Okay. So he says, "But you have to help us." He says, "I have to help you. How can I how can I help you? What could I possibly do? I can give you encouragement. Huh?" I say, "Hey, go, come on, guys, go." "How's that?" "Okay." "No, no, 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 no. You have to put your hand under it and you have to help us." So he said, "Okay." So they put his hand underneath and said, "Okay, everyone close your eyes." Right, the how do you say, the bearers, the carriers, I can't think of a better word, the stevedores. So they said, "Put your hand underneath it. Put your hand underneath." "Okay, everybody close your eyes. Let's go. When we count 3, you lift up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, open your eyes." And that's it. They were in Jerusalem. They were in Jerusalem. So he said, "Well, that's really amazing. That's really amazing." As they said, "Just here, let me pay you." So they said, "Just 1 second." They said to him, "We're going somewhere. We'll be right back." So they left, and he's waiting, just waiting. They didn't come back. So we went to the Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin. I guess this must have been before the temple was destroyed. No, the Sanhedrin existed even after, right? After the temple was destroyed. The temple. Anyway, he went to the Sanhedrin and he said, listen, I told the whole story, and these people, they disappeared, and I got this money, I want to pay the money. I don't know what should I do with it. They said, well, wait for them to come. He said, I've been waiting for 3 hours. They didn't come back. They know that I'm here. They worked hard. So they all thought for a moment, the rabbis thought, they said, listen, the rock was really heavy. Yeah, 5 people. Yeah, you closed your eyes. It came here immediately. That's what you said. Yeah, these people were angels. They weren't human beings. And you can take the money for yourself. You can keep the money yourself. And so he gave the money donated to the Holy Temple, also done. Now the question is, why did they want him to help? Why did he have to put his little frail, skinny, weak hand under the rock? Right? They didn't need him. The whole thing was a miracle. I mean, the whole thing was miraculous anyway. But even if it wasn't miraculous, and so a miracle, they sure didn't need him, right? For the miracle they could do on their own. So if it was natural, they didn't need his hand. If it was a miracle, for sure, they didn't need his hand. So what do you have to put his hand in? So the answer to it is the same thing as this week's Torah portion, that God wants us to do a little bit. We have to do something. We have to do. We can't just depend totally on God. We have to do something. Now, the little that we have to do it in a way that we're doing it alone. We have to do it as though we're doing it alone. So to speak, we have to do everything. And then we'll realize after all of our efforts and all of our this, we'll realize that really all we did was just put our little finger underneath. And where do we get our finger from? Our finger also came from God, right? So everything really comes from God. But God wants us to use our free will to help. And that's the same thing of bringing Mashiach. Bringing Mashiach is going to be a thing which is much more impossible logically than taking this, 5,000-pound rock and moving it to Jerusalem, carrying it to Jerusalem, especially to carry it in 1 second, a huge rock like that. And Mashiach is going to be infinitely more, inconceivable, infinitely more difficult. You're going to change the whole world. How is it going to be? But it's going to be. And it'll happen in 1 second, just like the rock. But we have to put our hand in. We have to do our hand. And putting our hand in doesn't mean that we have to just do a little bit. A little bit is good. A little bit is good. But a little bit more is better. And we have to treat it as though the whole thing depends on us, each and every person. We can't say, okay, we have these religious people, we have the Chabad guys, we have, Rabbi Bolton, he'll do it for us. And we're not. No. You can't do that. You have to say the whole thing depends only on me. One person, every person has to point to themselves. And I have to do whatever I can. If you can't do anything more than just pray, do that. A good thought. But don't fool yourself. The essence of Chassidut is don't fool yourself. You can do more. You can be more positive. You can be more practical. And if so, you'll see that all the world will change in one instant, just like it was with Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa. And now we'll do the Yom Yom.